Hey guys, my name is Kenny G. Today I'm going to be demonstrating how to remove and put a graphics card back in a computer. I have my lovely rig here. It is my personal computer. I take pride in it, and it normally is pretty well lit up, but for the sake of saving my lovely assistant from following me all over the room, I've already done the work of unplugging it. So right now we're going to talk about the things we need and what we have to do to get it to the point before we can start taking it apart. You're going to need a screwdriver, Phillips head, for almost all computers. It's necessary. Typically, we'd also have a static mat and a static guard, which is a little bracelet that goes around your hand. But today, since I don't have that, we're going to be grounding ourselves by holding onto the metal of the computer. It does the same thing. It absorbs all of the shock so that when you put your hand in there, it doesn't generate any static electricity, so it can't really hurt the parts. Now, when you first turn off the computer, you want to turn it off normally, go through the start menu, hit power off, and then you come back here and there's a switch. You're going to flick that switch. In this case, it's already off. And then you're going to remove the cord that way. After you do that, very important part, you want to hold down the power button for about 30 seconds to make sure the electricity fully leaves the computer. And for our next part, we're just going to dive right in. Okay guys, so here I have my computer lying flat on its side. Like I said, typically it would be laying on a static mat. In this case, I don't have one, so we're just going to be grounding ourselves. These are Phillips head screwdriver, or you need a Phillips head screwdriver for these, but I don't keep mine super tight because as a tech guy, I'm constantly going in and out of my computer. It doesn't really make a difference how tight they are, so I just kind of loosen them with my fingers and peel off this glass siding here. Put that aside for later use. And I don't know if you guys have ever looked inside a computer before. Here we've got the RAM. We have the fan that goes on top of the processor and on top of the heat sink. We have our exhaust fan, and we have our graphics card, which is what we're talking about here today. Everything plugs into the motherboard. You can see that behind everything. That is what we are going to be very careful about taking out of, because damaging any pins on this can kind of make your motherboard go entirely kaput. So the first thing we're going to do, we're always going to have one hand on the metal. We're going to unplug the power supply from the graphics card. Usually it's located either on the side or on this side. Mine just happens to be on this side. Makes it easier for the camera person. So you push down on that top piece, and we're going to just pull it out. Sometimes you need to give it a quick tug. It does not hurt things to give it a quick tug. Just be mindful about it. Next thing we want to do, there's screws on this side. Sometimes they're on the outside of the computer. Sometimes they are on the inside. Mine just happens to be on the inside. And we're going to remove this screw. At some point it'll come out. It's in a very odd place. And then we'll pull the sucker out. And then back here, I don't know if you guys can see that, if my computer is well lit enough, but there's a little piece in the back here. It's almost like a trigger. We're gonna pop that back. And it's going to release the graphics card. Just like that. And this, the two fans to keep it cool. And on top is all the whirligigs and all the fun stuff. And these are the pins that go inside this. It's called a PCIe port. It's where your graphics card goes, no matter what. All right, and just like taking it out, you're gonna put it back in gently, and we're going to line it up with those pins inside. So typically when you push it in, you're gonna hear that pop. My motherboard does not make that noise anymore, apparently. Maybe I've used it too many times and taken it out too many times. You're gonna then take that little tiny screw and you're gonna screw that back in. I'll save that part for later because it's pretty much impossible to get my fingers in there sometimes, especially without putting my big head in the way. Then we're gonna take our 8-pin power supply and we're gonna stick that right in there. Sometimes it can be a little bit of a pain. You gotta just hold it together. As you can see, it doesn't really like me. There we go. And that one's gonna make that popping noise. All right, so as you can see, I've got it all put back together. I put the glass on off camera just to save a little bit of time. I've straightened it out and plugged it all back in. So one of the most important parts of the next step after putting everything into the computer is you want to make sure that it's on the right side. It has to be standing up normally. You don't want to ever turn your computer on when it's on its side unless you really know what you're doing and you're taking a good look at the insides. After you do that, you're going to plug it back in into the back and you're going to hit that switch that I showed you in the beginning of the video. That's going to give it power, and the switch allows the power supply unit to give power to the rest of the computer. After that, you're going to press the power button and it turns on and it lights up and it's nice and pretty. And that's how you know it's on. Typically speaking, my desktop would be lighting up too, but just to save some awkward glances at my dirty workstation, we're not going to do that part today. Until next time, hope you guys have a great day.